Hello and happy Tuesday, October 32nd from Radically Rational. That's right, October 32nd. October is my favorite month. I'm not ready to let it go yet, so I'm declaring it October 32nd because that's what I want to believe, you see. Facts be damned, the calendar be damned, the sun be damned. It's October 32nd. So I got lots of sports to talk about, but first, they lie. They lie again. Who lies? Well, the habitual lying liars, of course. It's what they do. And it's pathetic. And it's more pathetic that people believe them. No, Pelosi's assailant, Mr. Pelosi's assailant, was not a gay lover of Mr. Pelosi. No, they did not know each other. And no, the assailant was not a false flag leftist. What evidence is there to suggest any of that? The answer is absolutely none. But because you wanted to concoct that, knowing that it was a lie, knowing there was no evidence, and you wanted to believe it, you felt free to disseminate it. And that's why we are where we are. It's been said that there's no bigger affront to human intelligence and human integrity than believing in something for which there is no evidence, and there is no evidence. On the flip side, there's conclusive evidence. This guy was an election-denying, conspiracy theorist, rightist, Trumpist, who had fixated on Nancy Pelosi. You know, like all the other nut job conspiracy theorists. That's what happened. How do we know? It's the same way we know so many things. Because he said so. Because he wrote that. Because there's been an investigation into this. And that is exactly what happened here. And yet, you continue to push another big lie because it's convenient for you. Real quickly, this affirmative action case that's before the Supreme Court, this is really fascinating. And this is not open and shut one way or the other. See, this is about nuanced thinking, something you might want to dabble in from time to time. There is no question that cultural diversity is essential for a healthy college campus and intellectual and social pursuit. No question about that. And there's no question that race is frequently a component of that. On the other hand, there's also no question in my mind, and I think constitutionally, that making a determination based on race is itself racist and is probably unconstitutional. I don't know. See, it's so liberating to be able to say, I don't know. You really ought to try it sometime. So a case could be made that you could use affirmative action as a temporary fix to get us where we need to be, where we don't need it anymore. But I was very disturbed by a network news report yesterday that included a soundbite from a black student who said, I cannot possibly imagine a time in which affirmative action would not be needed. Well, then why are we doing this? Isn't the whole point of affirmative action, if we want to go down that road, to get us to a point where we don't need affirmative action? I find that very disturbing, but I also find the case fascinating. All right, so Bibi and I voted yesterday, and I'm proud to report that it was a really good experience. It was quick, it was easy, it was pleasant. The poll workers were professional and cool and knowledgeable and helpful. And best of all, there were no armed goons around, which, was nice. Okay, sports. As we know, it's October 32nd, so we're going to continue the Fall Classic, the October World Series tonight. Game 3 after last night's rainout. Probably favors the Phillies, at least in the short run, because they've had a chance to get their pitching fixed up there. But go Astros. We don't ever think about this. Do you have any idea how hard it is for a pro coach, or really a coach at any level, to coach a complete knucklehead jackass? Let's all pray for Steve Nash. I want to get this straight. This is bugging me. If you call the Cincinnati NFL team, the Bengals, we can't be friends. No, no, no. We can't be friends. Okay? The Bengals do not include Susanna Hoffs. The Bengals do not, and the Bengals do not walk like an Egyptian. Okay? Yipes, stripes. If you call them the Bengals, we can't be friends. Boy, Bengals were already down Jamar Chase. Now they've lost their best cornerback. They could be in for a rough go, but I am happy for Jacoby Brissett. Who in the world doesn't love Jacoby? He is really cool. All right, Roquan Smith is one of my 5 or so favorite NFL football players, and I thought he was a great fit with the Bears in a lot of ways. He looked good in a Bears uniform, unless it's one of those orange uniforms, because nobody looks good in that. But if they had to trade him, I'm glad it's to Baltimore. He's kind of cut from that Raven cloth, and he will make that defense, which is sagged of late, much, much better. Really eager to watch this Sunday's game between the Rams and Buccaneers, because I guarantee you one of those teams is going to quit. I just don't know which one it is, and that makes it fascinating. The Jets are going to ride with Zach Wilson, despite the fact that he stunk it up the other day against the Patriots. That is the right decision. He's going to be okay. All right, the Packers offense has stunk all season. But now all of a sudden their defense stinks too, so at least they've become a more balanced team. My only reaction to Auburn's firing of head football coach Brian Harsin is, what the hell took you so long? That was a bad cultural fit. Dear Venus, don't do it. Go to school on Brady. Don't do it. I very seldom agree with Jim Harbaugh, but I do this time, when he says those Michigan State players that conducted that assault in the tunnel ought to face criminal charges. I am in agreement with Jim Harbaugh. All right, so Stanford, they're the cardinal, right? And it's the color. And their mascot is a tree. And they always have a student who dresses up in a tree costume, and he or she is the Stanford tree. All right, well, they've had to suspend the tree for acting like a jackass. So I went back and researched this, and they've had to suspend a number of trees for acting like a jackass. So clearly this problem has roots. Nobody likes a tree with a tooth. All right, finally, I didn't get to this yesterday, and I was remiss. I don't remember the last time I was so disgusted with a football player. I'm talking about that game Sunday between the Falcons and the Panthers, and I'm talking about Panthers wide receiver DJ Moore. All right, late in the game, it's a hell of a ball game. I mean, it's back and forth, and the Panthers are down 6 really late in the fourth quarter, really just seconds remaining. And somehow the Falcons let him get behind them, and he makes this spectacular play. 6 points, right? So now we're tied. All we need is a PAT, and Carolina, of all teams, is not only going to win the game, they're going to be in first place in the NFC South, but he can't help it. You want the poster child for the modern, selfish, professional athlete? He's got to take his helmet off and preen and primp, because there's no guesswork involved here. That's an automatic 15-yard penalty. PATs had already gotten hard enough in the NFL since they moved him back. Move it back another 15 and make it a 48-yard field goal. Predictably, the guy missed it. It goes into overtime, and the Falcons win the game. And worst of all, this clown was laughing about the whole thing. One more reason to keep your helmet on, man. You ain't that good looking. We are bringing facts back into fashion. We're making simple sanity sexy again, and we are beating crazies of all stripes back into the shadows where they belong. We are radically rational.